Hi everybody, this is M from DIYM, and today I just wanted to show you guys how I make these Rice Krispies Square fake bakes. They're actually cool boxes. I'm not going to show you what's in there yet until the end. There's lots of stuff you can put in these things, but I just wanted to show you, you can take a jewelry box, cover it with stuff. Because it's like St. Patrick's Day time, I tried to make this St. Patrick's Day themed. You can basically do any theme you want for any time of year. It doesn't even have to be themed. It could just be, you know, the theme is food, right? Maybe you just want it to look like food. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do with this. This is going to be kind of a long video. I actually started making this forever ago. These guys were drying for a long time because I started doing the marshmallows and then I kind of stopped doing the video. I was collecting all the stuff to make this, but yeah, I sort of stopped doing it. I lost the motivation to do it, but then I gained the motivation again when I sort of came across my stuff. So, and I figured because I was going to do this for St. Patrick's Day a few years back, I figured I'd do it for St. Patrick's Day this year. Anyways, I hope you guys like it, and I hope you guys make something like this for St. Patrick's Day if you want to, or again, you can make it for almost any time of year. Yeah, on to the video. Hey everybody, I'm just going to show you the materials that we're going to use for this project. The things you will need for this project are something similar to this. I chose cob bedding, which is something that you can find in pet stores. I find this one on Amazon, but this to me kind of looks like a lot of crafters use it for chopped nuts. There's some darker ones as well, so I found some stuff that's lighter, and it kind of to me looks a little bit like Rice Krispies. Here's a Rice Krispies box that I have. It's not exactly the same, but it's not too far off. So I think that that's a really good type of thing that you could use that's not edible if you wanted to use something like this for fake bakes or Rice Krispies Squares. I'm just gonna eat that. Didn't want that Rice Krispie to go to waste. Okay, so that's one thing you can get for Rice Krispies. Another thing I'm going to be using is a little jewelry box. It might be best to get a white or a craft color jewelry box, but if you don't have that and you have something like this on hand, because I tend to just buy black boxes, you can always just paint over it if you wanted to. It's probably best to paint over it so that the black doesn't show through when you're sort of gluing this stuff on. Anyways, you can get whatever size you'd like, and then I'll show you what to do. So that's another thing you can get. And you also need a glue gun of some kind. Also, don't forget to use some glue sticks. I'm also going to be using Model Magic. You can use any kind of air dry clay if you'd like for this, anything that works for you. So I'm using a white one, and then I'm just coloring it with all sorts of different paints you like. These are just nice pastel colors. You can use other acrylics that are a little bit more normal, I guess. You don't even have to use the pastel ones because these ones might be a little too late when you're coloring this stuff, but I'm just going to use small portions of it, so it might be okay. We'll see. But I want to make little Lucky Charm marshmallows with that. And you can also make, you don't have to make Lucky Charms specifically, you can make little tiny mini marshmallows that are different colors, or you can just use white for making regular marshmallows. You don't even have to use marshmallows in there if you don't want to decorate it that way either. So there's that. Another thing I'm going to be using for the actual marshmallow that's melted on the Rice Krispies Squares, when you do Rice Krispies Square treats, you'll notice that there's a milky sort of coating of marshmallow on there. So I'm going to be using this caulking, and then it's just going to add like a little bit of white to it. You can also add, if you wanted to, you can add just like a little bit of white. This one's titanium white. This might be a little bit too white. There's also more transparent whites. I think flake white, or there's mixing white. So they're kind of like a lighter white, and they will give almost like a milkier tone to your marshmallowy kind of effects, or some sort of milky thing that you wanted to do. And also we are going to use a Mod Podge. I got a gloss Mod Podge for this. You can use matte if you want to. I like to have a little bit of sheen for certain things like fake chocolate sauce, and this is going to come in handy for a few different types of things in this particular project. You also are going to need something to mix things with. I got paper bowls, but you can get whatever you'd like. A container that you don't care too much about, something that's throwaway, whatever you'd like. I also have, you can get smaller versions of this. I got really large popsicle sticks. You can use that as well. For the marshmallows, if I'm going to make Lucky Charm type marshmallows, I am going to use a regular toothbrush. These I would get for free. A dentist would like to give away free toothbrushes, so the toothbrush is something that you can use to create some sort of texture with your little marshmallows. I also can't find, for some reason, my toothpicks, but you could definitely use toothpicks if you want to create little holes for extra added texture. You can also use something like this. These I got from Amazon. I'm going to try to link these down below if I can. They have little tiny balls at the end. As I said, you can use toothpicks, you can use, if you want something a little sharper. I actually also got a dentist kit. It's really cool for when you're sculpting. I think that's kind of the basics anyways, in case you need that. Because you can decorate this in so many different ways. You can use fabric paints, whatever fun colors you want. If you want some chocolate, there's also chocolate colors. You can also make up some chocolate with gloss Mod Podge and brown paint. So I normally tend to use burnt umber paint. And if you want it a little bit thicker, you can also use some of this caulking as well. So that is cool if you wanted to make some chocolate. You can also, if you wanted to, use some sprinkles. I think there's so many different things you can use to decorate this stuff. Just have fun with it and enjoy the decoration process. I'm going to show you how to do basic stuff and how to add other little elements in there as well. For this, I might actually use something brighter. I'm also going to put something down on this just so I don't get paint and stuff everywhere. I kind of want to keep this a little more clean and pristine. So I'm going to get some sort of plastic and lay that down and to protect the surface before I mix colors with this. So I'm going to use bright colors just because the white's going to dilute colors quite a bit. I'm just going to use a little tiny bit of the colors just to mix around and see what kind of colors I can come up with for the marshmallows. Okay, so I put down some press and seal just to sort of cover this up a little bit. I also brought out some sort of cheaper paints that I got on Amazon just as a collection of stuff. So blue for the blue moons, because I want to do blue moons. I'm going to do the simple old retro shapes, not the newer ones. If you want to do newer ones, that's up to you. But these are the ones that some of them I feel are discontinued or they don't do them anymore. But anyways, I wanted to do just a regular clover marshmallow. So I'm going to try to do a couple of greens here. So the blues, I'm going to experiment with the different blues. Maybe add just a little bit just in case I need some darker. Same with the purples. I'm going to play with that a little bit. So this is going to be for the horseshoes. This is going to be for stars. I'm going to do like some stars. And then this I'm just going to do for the hearts. So this should be hearts, stars, horseshoes, clovers, and blue moons. So I'm going to do at least 5 different balls of color here, and hopefully that'll work out. Let's try it right now. I like to seal this up so it'll hopefully stay fairly fresh. Okay, so I'm going to tear off at least 5 little balls here. And in case I want to do regular marshmallows, I'm just going to actually have the 6 ball white ones. So I'm going to probably use the biggest ball right now. I'm just going to add some pink and see what happens. It's good to just squeeze out a little bit and then work the color in as much as you can and see what kind of comes out of it. Might add some more. Better to add more later than a lot at first. I mean, I could add more pink if I wanted to, but I might later. I'm not sure, but it looks pretty good right now. It's not too bad, and I can always paint it later if I wanted to brighten it up a bit. So that's the pink. I'm gonna make the purple next, I think. Ooh, that's a lot. Well, maybe we're gonna need that. Who knows? Let's see. I'm okay with some pink getting in here too. Not a big deal. That is not purple enough. Let me see if I can get this going. Okay, so I just tried to do this violet one and it's a little bit darker, but it still looks like it's quite light, which is interesting. Okay, maybe is this gonna do something here? This might get a bit darker here, which that's gonna be good if that's gonna be the case. Here, let me see. Might add a bit more pink to it just to make it a little more purpley in tone. If I need it, let's see. Here, let's see if this. Sometimes if you add some magenta, you can make purples brighter. So let's try doing that. Yeah, that looks more purpley in tone to me. I don't know about you guys. What do you think? More purpley in tone than before? Maybe a little bit of pink streaks through it. I'll roll it up a little bit better. We got a pink and a purple. Cool, that should be fun. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one aside for the white. Let's do blue. Let's do blue because we're in purple mode right now. Hopefully the pink doesn't get in there. Whoa, that's a lot of blue. Oh my god. Well, hopefully that colors it perfectly. We'll see. My hands are gonna look so pretty by the end of this. Oh my god. Well, that's way too much blue. See, this is why I say just add a little bit at a time. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make more moons than normal, I think. I'm just going to add it to another ball here, just so it's not so overwhelmingly painty. This is a very pigmenty blue. That's perfect. That's kind of what I wanted anyways. Let's try to get all this blue up so I don't seep that into the other colors. Oops, looks like some purple got in here. Maybe a little bit pink, I don't know, we'll see. Should probably wash my hands in between sessions here. Okay, so that's a lot lighter. I'm gonna add a little bit of this darker blue. So you want some... Oh wow, the blue comes out real easily here. I should probably just pour it on the side and just add it a little bit at a time instead of like the way I'm doing it. If you can control yours a lot easier, by all means do what I'm doing, but yeah, I would say maybe get a palette or something and pour it out that way. But you can see that things lighten up a lot with the white clay, which is fine because we want sort of pastel colors to make it look like marshmallows, right? So anyways, we've got a lot of blue here, so that's good. We got pink, purple, and blue. We're gonna do, I think, a yellow one next. I might wash my hands real quick. Okay, so I cleaned my hands. Let's get some yellow and orange going because I want more of an orangey sort of tone. So let's try this bright orange out and see what happens. Let's try not to pour it too quickly. I may not even need this yellow because this is a nice orange on its own. I might get a little bit more orange happening here just to make it a little bit brighter, but this is great. This is a really nice pigment. The brighter, the better, I think. Okay, so this should be a good color for a star. Maybe a little bit oranger. I don't know, maybe I should brighten it a little bit. So, okay, let's try a little bit of green. Let's try the darker one first, and if anything I can try the brighter one, see if I can get it brighter. Ooh, look at that deep green. It's pretty cool. Let's see how bright in tone that becomes. Maybe I don't even need the bright green. If I want like a yellowier color, I might. Definitely gonna probably need to make it deeper color than this. But it's not bad actually. It's a pretty nice green. It's like a mint green. It's very pretty. But I want it to be a little bit more green in tone. Let's try to do that. And if it's too green, maybe I'll add some more clay. Yeah, I probably won't need the other green because this is quite a pretty green that's coming out of this. I'm just going to make it a little bit darker if I can in tone. So that'll be a really cool green for a clover sort of color. Anyways, I'm going to try to roll these guys out. I'm going to wash my hands first again. I'm going to roll these guys out and then we'll try to make some cool marshmallows here. Okay, so let's try to make some marshmallows. Some little marshmallow embellishments for our either charms or Rice Krispies Squares or any kind of decorative purposes. So I want to kind of make almost like a snake like this. And I want to take one of these guys and try to get maybe this green one out because there's a small end and a big end, so maybe that'll be useful. Let's try to do some balls here. Okay, so I'm gonna just make 4 4-leaf clovers and roll them up, flatten them out on one side to make them sort of circular, and then shape them a bit. Okay, so I want to do that. I want to take my toothbrush and just give it a little bit of texture. This doesn't fully look like the old school clovers, but that's okay. We'll make our own version of this. Okay, well, let's try another one. Let's see if I can get something similar going here. Yeah, so if you want to, you can like add little dents or something just to make it look kind of more real. For a little effects and texture. There's that, okay. This I'm just going to make into like regular marshmallow. Cut some stuff in half here. Make 4 regular mini marshmallows. These are very, very mini marshmallows. Okay, give them some texture in a little bit. I'm just going to shape them all first. Pinch the sides and sort of flatten the top to make it sort of circular, almost like a cylinder shape. And again, I'm just gonna make a little bit of texture. So got some mini marshmallows going. Okay, I'm gonna make some mini pink marshmallows, but also some hearts. Do what we did with the clover, sort of make it circular and press it down. But I want to make a heart shape. It's not a tremendously pointy heart. This is great for Valentine's Day as well. Okay, so do that and then add a little texture. So it sounds like dry brushing. Little texture. Okay, so these guys I'm going to just do this real quick, make them into mini marshmallows like I did with the green ones. Okay, I'm gonna try to make a star, which might be kind of hard, so let's see, let's give it a go. Okay, it's almost flower-like. I mean, you could always make marshmallow flowers too. That'd be kind of cute if you wanted to do that sort of thing. If you're gonna make a star, you gotta pinch this a bit. It's almost like a sun. This is gonna definitely be the hardest one, I think, to make look cute. It's probably why they stopped doing the stars. I think they do shooting stars now, which look more complicated, to be honest with you. I don't want it to be so pointy, like I want them to have a little bit of a rounded top. This is a toughie to do, I will say that much. Well, definitely, I don't think it needs much texturing, but I will do it anyway. This is probably my least favorite marshmallow of the lot. Anyways, this is a very textured looking one. It's a star. Put that there for now. Okay, let's try to do another hard one. This one is horseshoe. Do some purple mini marshmallows. Alright, let's do some horseshoes here. Try to kind of do them like the rest here. I'm assuming you have to do kind of like the heart, but kind of like really go for it with it. Yeah, because I find the horseshoes tend to be a little bit together more. I don't know if that makes sense, but I do want to get a little bit of indentation here to make it look kind of how it does. I'm just gonna do it like this and hope for the best. They're not great. Well, I guess they kind of look like the horseshoes in the cereal. It's horseshoe-like. Hopefully the moon's gonna be the easiest one to do, other than the heart. The heart was pretty easy. These are the marshmallows that didn't quite make the cut. Anyways, that's good enough, right? They look kind of horseshoe-like. Okay, let's move on to the blue. Blue is the last one. And these are getting so dry, so I don't have to texture them as much. As you can see, there's like texture happening here. Quite a bit of texture, actually. Let's do some blue mini marshmallows. Okay, doing the same thing I've been doing this entire time. All right, let's make some moons here. I'm just sort of shaping it with my thumb here a little bit. But also squishing it down a bit because I don't want it to be too thick. I don't want it it to be the thickest marshmallow ever. If you want to, you can add some texture. Just so that it looks more marshmallowy. So far, the hearts have been the easiest to make out of everything, so I hope you guys have fun making those. Okay, so basically I'm just going to let those dry. Now I made a lot of marshmallows, so Lucky Charms or just mini marshmallows, and they look pretty cute. Some of them look good enough to eat, but yeah, I'm just gonna let them dry. Okay, so I took some of my favorite of the Lucky Charms marshmallows. I mean, you could do the same thing with the mini marshmallows if you want to, but I basically just created a little hole. See that? In the top there of each of the marshmallows and tried to make it a little bit bigger, but I basically have these little bales, so I'm gonna let that dry as it is, and then I'm going to glue these little bales in. Basically they look like little hats almost. They've got like a little sort of, looks like little mushrooms actually, and then this little loop thing. I'm gonna try to basically glue them with like a really strong glue down onto the charms like that. And you can sort of do this anyway. You don't even have to use these sort of bales if you don't want to. There's clear bales that you can get and you can glue them on the back of these sort of things too. I want to leave the rest here for just decorations for the top of stuff, but if I wanted to make like a little necklace or bracelet, like a charm, Lucky Charm bracelet, basically I could just sort of just make little holes like that while they're drying. So I'm just gonna let these guys dry overnight, and yeah, I think that's pretty much that. Okay, so it's actually been quite a few years since I made these guys, so they've been drying for a long time. So there's my little mini marshmallows. If you want to, you can always chop them up and put them in things. That's also an option. Or you can just use this sort of thing to decorate stuff, which is what I'm gonna do. And then there's these guys. They feel still kind of this air dry clay, and I guess because it was mixed with paint, they do feel almost like marshmallowy and kind of soft, which is really cool. So there's that. Another thing you can do that I kind of didn't mention in the video, because I got this later, in case you really don't want to make things forever, mold things from scratch, you can get these mini Sculpey tools. I don't know if these are still on the market. These have been on the market for years. I used to sell them in my art store, but yeah, you can get these mini stainless steel cutters if you're doing any kind of clay work. But I feel like this would probably be great for making the stars here. There's this guy. There's actually a heart. If you want, you can make, I think Blue Diamonds was also a retro version of Lucky Charms, so you could always make diamonds as well. You might have to mold certain things from scratch. Stuff like the moon, you might be able to make out of something here. Maybe something like this and then mold it a little bit better into more of a moon shape. This guy, I feel like you can make that fairly easily. Maybe just cut like a circle out and then just push things in with your tool. That could help. Also, I think this guy might be a little difficult to do as well. You might be able to get away with something like this shape and then just mold the top part a little bit. I don't know. I was kind of hard on myself, I think, looking back on this video with all these shapes. Felt like they didn't really look too much like the Lucky Charms cereal, but if you actually look at the Lucky Charms cereal, it's not really perfect. So the cereal marshmallows aren't actually perfect. But yeah, you can always use this same sort of technique. Maybe make it almost like tan color, and you can make the shapes of the grain cereal that they have for Lucky Charms as well. I'm not going to do that for this video, but you could always do that at some point if you'd like. I would say maybe add a lot more texture than I probably did for the marshmallows, because the marshmallows look a little smoother sometimes. But yeah, add a little bit more texture. Anyways, so that's an option, especially if you want to make smaller charms and shape things. You can color it the same way, or you can just take some white air dry clay and then paint it afterwards. But I find if you color it the way I did it in this video, it's a lot easier to make the same sort of uniform color all throughout. It's not going to be streaky, it's not going to take forever to dry, you know what I mean? So that's probably the fastest thing to do, and then just let things dry. It also gives it a little bit more working time, because I find when you wet air dry clay, it makes it a little bit more pliable and easier to work with. Some of them got dry as I was working with it, like the blue, but it still worked out quite nicely in the end. So I just wanted to show you guys that. And yeah, and then if you want to, you can always just make mini marshmallows. You can make white ones too. So there's that. So I know I talked about this box in the video, but I ended ended up making a box that's a little bit bigger and just sort of painting it. I just gessoed it and then put quite a few coats of unbleached titanium. So I used this. This is from Liquitex. This is actually an artist quality paint. I'm pretty much almost done it. I tend to use this for under paintings if I'm doing portraits, if I'm doing a white person. But yeah, so that's what I used for that. I just painted the whole box except for maybe this part so I can sort of see whereabouts I should place the fake Rice Krispies. So I'll just tell you the size of the box. I think somebody gave these to me. It was so many years ago that I did this. I think somebody gave these to me for a present. But just so you guys know, you can do all sorts of different sizes. You don't have to do this. You can always do a craft box and you don't have to paint it necessarily if that's the case. I just find if things are almost like a tan color, it's a little bit easier. The box won't show through so much underneath. Okay, so I got cut off by my camera, so it thought that I used up my SD card, but I just deleted a whole bunch of videos last night so that wouldn't happen. I think it just took a long time for the footage to go through the trash can to just empty on its own. But anyway, so I'm gonna just try this again. So I'm gonna measure these guys. The lid is about 2¼ inches by, looks like a little over 3 inches. And then the bottom part is about just a little over 2 inches by just a little over 3 inches here. So, and then on the side here, it's about close to 1¼ around there. So yeah, you don't have to get boxes this exact size. It does help to sort of establish some sort of line. First of all, I'm going to take, I have this cotton because I think that that's going to be hard to work with. Okay, so you do not have to put this down, this press and seal. I'm just getting this stuff, right? Just like before. But yeah, you do not have to buy that or put that down by any means. It just helps stick down to the surface really, really well. Helps protect the surface fairly well. It is a little wrinkly though, but it does help protect the surface. I flipped over this mat as well to a side that's a little gungy, so I'm not too worried if something does happen to go on the side. Anyways, so these are nice and dry because I've let these dry for quite a few years. I'm going to plug in my hot glue. I'm going to finally, after I don't know how many years, open this guy up. So these kind of do look like nuts, I guess, but they also kind of look like Rice Krispies. So there's a few ways of doing this. You can do the hot glue method. You can always put some other type of glue down. I'm going to just put the glue down and then dip it while things are still hot. Make it a little messy, a little stringy. That's why I have these paper bowls. I'm going to try to work with the side as well and then try to make sure that it's fairly flush and flat with the surface here. And I'm going to coat this at some point too. This just makes it a lot faster to use a hot glue. Try to fill in the gaps as much as you can. So things are definitely going to come off a little bit. You might have to give your glue gun a little bit of a break sometimes. Whoops. It might be a little stringy. As you know, hot glue is very stringy. So somebody might think this is more of like a granola thing instead of like a Rice Krispies Square, but it's gonna have that texture when I'm done with it, I think. And if you want, you can work with a silicone finger cover to help not burn your fingers when you're doing this. Mine's just all ripped up, unfortunately, so don't really have access to it at the moment. As you saw, I have like a lot of this corncob bedding. This will last me a lifetime, so I have enough to cover this most likely, and then some. I'm just gonna do strips because it's a little easier to cover things up. Put on whatever you can. You don't have to make it straight because honestly, if you make it really, really straight, it just looks really unnatural. It's okay if it's kind of wonky and all over the place. It's starting to look a little like Rice Krispies Squares, right? If you don't want to work with such a huge strip either, you can just do small sections at a time like this. So it's messy just like an actual Rice Krispies Square. I like try to work with that. Sometimes pet stores are really great craft supply places. This is like, I think it's like hamster bedding. I got this on Amazon, but you could always check out your local pet store as well. It's a dangerous place for my husband and I because we always want to buy an animal or something. And I'm allergic, unfortunately, to animals. I love animals. I used to live on a farm. But yeah, I find it really difficult to be around them without allergy pills. It's really annoying because I really love animals and I really want to be a foster of an animal at some point. point in my life. I kind of feel like I need a bigger space in order to have it be fair for the animal. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but if you give me a like and subscribe, that might hopefully make my dream come true of having an animal maybe someday. I don't know. It would be nice to have. I think animals deserve to have a really loving home. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about all these glue strings right now. I'll get them later. I'll just snip them off when I see them. Just adds to the look of this, I guess. Anyways, I think I'm just gonna keep going. You guys kind of get the picture. I'm just gonna finish the sides on this side, and then I'll do the next step, and I'll show you what to do there. Okay, so I did the tops of these boxes, and you can see there's some glue and stuff like that, but honestly, it kind of looks alright, and even a little bit of glue strings is fine, because as most people know, if they've eaten Rice Krispies Squares, the marshmallow is very stringy. It kind of adds to the realty of this. It's clearly not finished, though. I wanted to just show you guys how I'm going to do the sides. I'm going to kind of ignore the bottom part. I'm just going to basically do the sides just so that it looks like a full Rice Krispies square. So they look pretty cute so far. But yeah, I'm going to cover them with some stuff too to make them look a little bit more like marshmallow has sort of stuck them together instead of glue. Still got my glue gun here, still going. Push a bunch of these guys on. Just gonna push it kind of near. Hopefully it doesn't glue things shut. I'm going to test things out before I go any further. Every single time I kind of, yeah, see, things are almost looking like they're gluing together, and I don't want that. I want things to fit together though. Anyways, I'm just going to keep going here along the bottom. I'm going to try to keep things kind of flat-ish here as much as I can. So yeah, you're gonna just have to keep checking it along the way, try to get all those glue strings off, press things down as much as you can. It's just gonna be a lot of sort of checking on things and making sure things fit pretty well. I've been going through these glue sticks like crazy. Luckily I've got a ton of glue sticks, so it should be okay. Ugh! Everything's attached to me. Yeah, a lot of this project involves a lot of cleaning off your project, hands and fingers and nails, all the glue strings all over you. Oh, is this gonna come off? Yeah, it did. Okay, sweet. So yeah, that's basically what you kind of have to do with a weird rough edge like this, I think, is just to keep gluing things on and testing things out as you go. It's kind of like mosaic art in a sense, almost like a mosaic box, like you're working with some stones. But yeah, it fits together like a puzzle, which is kind of cool. Might want to see if I can get something going on here a little bit. Oh, so yeah, so you gotta make sure that it's fitting properly here. Oh, I think this is preventing it from closing. Oh, so I'm just gonna rip that guy off. There you go. That's a bit better. Alright, so now it's closing a bit better. Okay, so yeah, it's a lot of trial and error, guys. But anyways, you've sort of seen how I do this side, so I'm just gonna finish off these sides, and I'm gonna finish off the other box, just so you don't have to watch everything. Okay, so I was able to cover both the Rice Krispies Squares on all sides. You can still see that there's a box happening, but it's pretty good. Honestly, if you switch sides with it, so it still opens, it's just a little awkward. I mean, this box is just awkward in general, but it's a little easier to grip now. And so if you put it on the wrong side, well, it still looks okay, actually. But it looks better on the side that was done. I actually only have one glue stick left. I still have a big bag here too, and a whole bunch of other glue sticks from the ones that I took out. And this is pretty much all that's left of the corncob bedding. Yeah, so the next stage is I'm going to spread a specific mixture over this to make it look a little bit more marshmallowy. Yeah, so I'll show you that next, okay? So you can by all means leave them like this, but I feel like they look kind of dry. I bet you thought that the glue stage was over, but it's definitely not. So we're gonna add a different type of glue to these boxes. I'm going to put this aside for just a second up here, and I'm going to take one of these guys again, and I'm going to make some marshmallowy look, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just end up pouring some Mod Podge in here, and then you can add a little bit of a zinc white, which is more of a transparent white than a titanium. Titanium white is going to be more of an opaque white. You can add a touch of an opaque white if you want to, but if you want to just use paint instead of a caulking, which is what I'm going to use here, you could use, I would say zinc white is the more transparent white. Okay, now that that's been said, I'm going to try to get my Mod Podge. I'm going to grab a big popsicle and then mix that around. So I want to do more Mod Podge than caulking. Oh, I think I have to snip this. Cut that tip off there. I just want to put a little bit in. I'm just going to mix this in together really nicely. And that's okay if there's some bubbly appearances. It kind of looks more realistic, I think. I'm going to use this. It's an older brush that I've used before for painting. It's not that old, but like it's something. You might want to use something as a designated glue brush unless you can get everything out of the bristles. And then just sort of brush. You can do a little bit of a lighter coat, but it doesn't have to be that light. Get in on some of the crevices if you want to. And try not to get too much glue here. Let it dry obviously fairly well, but the more glue you have there, the more the box will stick together. So try to keep the top part right here free of this mixture. Okay, just put it all the way around. But yeah, hopefully once this dries, this will look almost like a marshmallowy effect. And I'm gonna try to not put this on the bottom, again, just because when it flips over, you don't want the box to glue onto things. Okay, so I'm gonna let that guy dry. I'm gonna do the same thing for the lids. Give a nice, healthy, generous amount. Just brush that on. Try to avoid around there too. You can put a few coats of this on if you'd like, but I think one coat is probably fine. But it's nice because it's Mod Podge, which is a glue and a sealer in one, you're basically sealing this and making it even sturdier, so hopefully things won't fall off as easily. And same with the spackle. Yeah, you can do this pretty quickly, but it looks more marshmallowy, right? It might dry a lot more clear. Yeah. Oh, this is really highlighting on a glue string. So you may not see this much whiteness on it. It just looks like a very marshmallowy looking square, right? If you missed a few spots, you can always go over it with the same mixture. And you can do another coat, or you can just do the patchwork, whatever you feel is the best move. Okay, so that's pretty much that. It's starting to look awesome already. Okay, so I'm just gonna mostly leave these two, and then I'm going to do these guys off camera. I mean, again, you can leave things like that as well. It also looks okay, but it looks a lot drier, almost like a stale one, so it may not look as good and actually realistic in the end. So I'll show you what they look like when they're dry, and then we can decorate them. Okay, so fun. When you're done with this stuff, you just throw this out. I just washed this. I just took a little bit of paper towel, just took most of the stuff off, and then washed this in the sink. It's okay to wash Mod Podge, but if you put something like caulking right in the sink, it's probably not a good idea for the pipes, but it's just a little bit of caulking. But that's why I took some sort of paper towel first before I started washing and rinsing it. Gotta be good to your pipes. So this you can just toss with this mixture. I pretty much used it all up. I already put these guys together. I let these guys dry for a little bit, but they're a little sticky still, so they're not too bad. I'm gonna let them dry a little bit more, but what I'm gonna do is Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on decorating the tops of this, and then I'll put them together. So I'm going to do two different types of decorations for this. So this is my tulip puffy paints collection. I think I'm just going to pick this green and this pink here. Although this bright pink's nice. Nope, I think I'm going to do this pink. One's going to be quite colorful, mainly for St. Patrick's Day. You don't have to necessarily use these marshmallows, but that's what I'm going to do for the top. And you can use these, the fake mini marshmallows, if you don't feel like making these guys either. Or you can just add some extra color with that. You can also just add color with fake sprinkles. These are fake confetti sprinkles. You can get fake caviar sprinkles, all sorts of stuff. For the other one, I'm going to make it look a little bit more chocolatey. So I'm going to use this. They're two different colors, right? So there's a dark chocolate, almost looks like Oreo crumbles. And then these are both fake, by the way. I don't know if they're made out of rubber or something. They feel like eraser consistencies, but there's a dark chocolate and then there's like a milk chocolate one. I'm going to put those crumbles on top, and I might use this brown, similar to this stuff. You can also use, I have a small version like this. I actually might use the smaller version. But yeah, I'm just going to make this one kind of chocolatey and then this one more rainbow colors. Maybe I'll put a few of these confetti sprinkles in these. So I chose pink and green because that kind of matched the colors here quite a bit, and I thought that would be kind of nice. So I'm just going to do the drizzle pattern. You can do whatever thing you want, and if you want to make this instead of buying the Tulip brand version or anything similar to the Tulip brand version, you can mix brown paint. I've just used this Liquitex Basics one. This is a student grade paint, but you just use burnt umber and mix that with Mod Podge, and I normally use the gloss Mod Podge with that to mix them together. So it's 1-to-1 ratios or so. I have a whole chocolate sauce video on my channel, so I'm just going to link that above and also down below so you guys can check that out after this video is over. So this is the fun part. This is my favorite part. I love just decorating things. I'll do these guys first. Oh my god, this is gonna look so cute. And you can make it look thicker, but that's basically what I'm gonna do. You can even do crisscrosses, diagonals, all sorts of different patterns, but I'm just gonna go across a stripey like this. Honestly, you can totally gift these on their own too. You do not have to go as extra as me when it comes to this sort of thing, but you know me, I like to go a little extra. And then I like to just put on a few sprinkles. I'm gonna put some dollop of whipped cream in the center here, so I'm just gonna try to focus the sprinkles more towards the sides. Sometimes it's easy to get paint on you. You can always take tweezers or something to do this step. And yeah, if you want to, you can even go the extra mile by spraying it with some sort of spray. But I'm just gonna let that dry. Okay, so that looks nice and rainbowy, which is perfect for St. Patrick's Day. It almost looks kind of like a peanut butter one. It's too bad I don't have fake Reese peanut butter cup pieces or fake Reese's pieces. I think that would be really cute. I've got fake M&Ms, but I don't know. It just has almost like a peanut butter chocolate treat quality to it. I think it looks really cute. Yeah, so I kind of like that pattern. I think it's pretty cute. And then I'm just going to take some of these. You can add, I have gold pieces, so you can add gold pieces if you want to make it look almost like gold flakes, right? You can even drizzle this over the edge a little bit if you want to. I also have something that looks kind of like s'mores. This is just at least a couple different ways to decorate here. I just wanted to show you, just in case people have different styles of what they like in life in general. There's some people that are friends of mine that are into colorful things. There's some people that are just into more neutral stuff. So this looks nice and chocolatey for those more neutral people. And then this is more rainbowy for people who like that sort of thing. So just sort of take into account people's interests. Obviously, everybody has different colors that they enjoy, different treats they enjoy. Some people, like my husband, really love chocolate peanut butter stuff, right? So this is something that you probably really like to get. I love rainbows and sprinkles and things like that. I'm not saying that my husband doesn't, but just saying that that's something that's more up my alley. So I would probably love to get something like this. So just think about who you're gifting to. If you want to, you can even leave things plain. And then when you figure out who you're going to gift this to, you can sort of decorate this stuff later, which I think is always a fun thing to do as well. Okay, guys, this is the first step of the decoration process. And then I'm going to show you the whipped toppings that I'm going to do after I let this set and dry for just a little while. Okay, so I've let this guy dry for a while. So I have this Wilton's kit and it has a whole bunch of different tips. It came with a few bags. So I'm going to be using this tip. This is a 2D tip, okay, and it creates this kind of look, which I really like. I think it's really cool. I also like this look, but I think this one looks really nice. It's kind of more whipped cream-like to me. Just wanted to show you where that tip came from. So I used this in another video that you guys are probably going to see much later, but I just wanted to make sure that I showed you that. So what I like to do, I prefer normally to have a tip that's interchangeable, but this will do too. So normally I like to cut right around here, so right here, right? Sort of see where that is, and then I'm going to just trim that all the way across. I'm just basically making sure that it's pushed through. It's pretty solid. When I'm doing this, I use this for water a lot. I also like to use these just to put this in here. To make it easier to put the fake frosting or whipped cream or whatever into this bag, just makes it a lot easier. And I open it up like that. You can use your hand and do that too. I find this is a lot easier. It makes it easier to just use both hands, right? So I already have some stuff in this container, but I want to put more in. So I have some spackle here opened up. I'm gonna put not a lot in, just a little bit just to mix around. It's pretty lightweight, this stuff. This is lightweight spackle by Red Devil. And I like to use a titanium white. This one's from Liquitex Basics. So this is student grade paint. I think some people will add some yellows to their spackle to make it have almost like an antique white look for almost like a retro creamy looking frosting. It makes it look nice if you're doing more vintage cakes and stuff. And this mixes really nicely, the paint and the spackle together. It's quite soft, but I like to give it a nice mix. So it's nice and whipped. And if for some reason it solidifies, which I find this stuff is pretty soft vast majority of the time, you can always add a little bit of water to it. If you want to make a chocolate frosting, you can add brown. I like to use the same stuff I use for chocolate sauce, which is the burnt umber from the same company, but you can always use lots of different companies. If it's normally a big tube of paint, it's normally student grade. Big cheap version. Okay, so I think I mixed it enough. I'm gonna take this guy. I don't normally throw these away, these spackle containers, the smaller versions. I feel like they do a good job with mixing. Okay, bring this up. And then I like to squeeze the end and squeeze this down to the bottom as much as I can. And then I like to twist it when I'm using it. It just helps me bring it out a little bit easier. So I'm just going to show you what I have for toppings real quick. You can do lots of cool toppings. You don't have to necessarily use it in this whipped cream, but you can use this on anything chocolatey. But this is little tiny plastic. I think they're actually supposed to be tiny, tiny ice cubes. I think that's what they were selling them as. But I feel like they could be chunky sea salt, right? If you want to do something that's sea salty. But you can also add white sand to things if you want to make some sort of salty type thing. I have these. I don't know if I'm going to use them, but I'll see when I'm decorating, but it's just some gold beads. Some of these have kind of holes in them. They're hard to see though, so it may not be so bad, but these are gold seed beads. I brought out these guys. These are the ones that I want to use for the top of this. I also have this. I might actually put this on top of this guy specifically. It may be this one too. I want a St. Patrick's Day kind of look, so I'm gonna do a little bit of gold there. I might also add this on top because this kind of looks like, you know, those chocolate gold coins. So I was gonna stick that in the top. This and the marshmallows are the main thing, so I thought that'd be kind of fun for St. Patrick's Day. I also have, probably going to be for the top of this, I have different types of chocolate flakes. So these are from crayons. I made that video on how to make different chocolate things with crayons and glue sticks. I'll link that down below as well for you guys. So I made this out of glue and then I just painted it because it was a little transparent, so I painted it with a little bit more burnt umber. So I'm probably going to put some of those on top. Also, I have, they look like half strawberries. I'm going to put this down below too, but in another video I made these out of hot glue so they look like that. Or if you want to make something look like orange flavor, orange and chocolate, I have little orange slices as well, and they're just flat back cabochons, so I'll figure it out which one I want to do. But anyways, another cool thing would be if you're doing like a cookies and cream kind of thing. I feel like a fake Oreo cookie to stick on top would be a nice thing to add on top. Just love the look of this. It looks so cool, right? I'll do these guys because they're quite small. Okay, I'll do maybe a bunch of these guys. Oh. Doesn't want to stick. You might want to try to get things in there a little bit too if you can. You don't want to ruin the design too much, but it probably helps a bit to try to get it in there a little bit. Let them fall wherever you like to roll a bit. There we go. Okay, so I did that. I want to add this guy in here, as I said. Just gonna really stuff it in there. Also going to add a bunch of these guys. Right? Don't those look so cute? I love it. Yeah, you can add anything else you want if you'd like. This, I'm going to probably just stick these chocolate bits on top. Maybe I'll just do 3. And I feel like this needs something else. But yeah, you can use all sorts of different things for toppings. I think that's really cute. And if you want to, you can drizzle some more chocolate on top. You know what? I might just do that. Just kind of cute, right? It's going in like 5 different directions. Yeah, you can do the Mod Podge and the brown burnt umber, mix that together, and then you can make a chocolate sauce that way as well. But yeah, I just wanted this to look very, very chocolatey. I think that's really, really cute. So pretty much almost anybody can really enjoy that. I think it's really cute anyways. I find them really adorable. So I'm just gonna let these guys dry, let it dry overnight, and then I can put this together and I'll show you tomorrow. There we go. I did a nice little tidy up of my craft space. So I just put these guys together. I think they look so cute. And I tested it out. This stuff is not coming off. It seems to be on there. I think this is the same. Yeah. So this is a little sticky. I think with any kind of humidity, I tried not to make it too gluey here, but yeah, with any kind of humidity, I think it's gonna happen. Whoops. I put some fun little coins in there. So you could always put a gift card and something like this, money, all sorts of stuff. Obviously you can do jewelry, any little tiny thing. So this guy, I figured this would be great for my husband. Again, it's a little bit sticky, so it's pretty dry, but it's still kind of sticky. You might want to let it dry for quite a couple days maybe. But again, like depending on the weather, the glue might be kind of sticky with the humidity. I put my husband's cufflinks that I made him in here. I made a video on this a few years ago on making rune jewelry. So I put the cufflinks in here that I made for him. Anyways, I think it's really, really cute. Hopefully you guys like it. Stay tuned for next week's video. I'm gonna make something with these marshmallows. So hopefully you guys stay tuned and watch that and enjoy it. So there's still going to be more St. Patrick's Day stuff coming at you. But yeah, you can basically make this for any occasion. This could be for birthdays, Christmas, anniversaries, engagements, wedding stuff, Valentine's Day, Easter, pretty much any time of year. It depends on how you decorate it. Again, you can just leave them blank, decorate it like the first layer that I did. You don't have to go this elaborate with whipped cream and stuff like that, but I always want to show how you can do stuff. You can always put cherries and things like that on top too. I forgot to talk about the fake cherries you can put on here. You can top it with so much stuff. Anyways, I hope you like this. I hope you guys decide to make something like this. Honestly, it was so much fun to make, and hopefully you can impress a friend or two. Again, hopefully you guys have fun. I'm just gonna say this real quick. If you want to make the marshmallows look extra realistic, you could always put a little bit of talc powder on it. Sometimes these things are a little bit more powdery. These marshmallows from the cereal, you can put a baby powder on there, and then you can, if you want to, before you stick them in here, you can probably spray them with a matte finishing spray. So I have a matte Mod Podge, glue and sealer. It's multi-surface, indoor, outdoor, no brush strokes, durable, and it's supposed to be non-tacky. So yeah, you can always cover that with powder, spray this matte Mod Podge or some sort of matte finish on, seal it in. Another thing that some people will do is put some sort of hairspray on. But yeah, if you want to, you can get something like this as well. Yeah, sometimes hairspray is a good sealer. So anyways, I hope you guys like that. And if you do, please be sure to give me a like and subscribe. And if you think somebody else is going to like it, please share it. That really, really helps me out a lot. I guess that's pretty much it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this and make this and have an awesome St. Patrick's Day if that's what you celebrate. Either way, have a good day, okay guys? Take care. Bye!